certainly while they were married, but even after she'd escaped. He had planted the notion that he was always close. Confiding in someone was offering a key that might be used against her. Dinner hadn't felt that way at all. It was a relief to get her truth out there. A man she hadn't seen in more than 7 years was stalking her. He'd made her believe her mother was in the hospital, had managed to elude building security at her apartment and deliver a bouquet of yellow flowers, a color Spencer loved and she despised. But he was a fool to think he could get to her. She was with the police department. That bouquet of flowers was being processed by Roger Sampers, the head of the crime scene unit himself. In only 6 months, San Francisco had started to feel like home. Here, for the first time, she had her own space. She was in charge of her own work, which gave her the opportunity to give it the focus it deserved and to excel at something she loved. Because she was good. She was appreciated. She had the support of her peers. She had friends. A ridiculous thought for a 36-year-old woman, but there it was. She liked it here. Seattle had always been temporary. The first city away from Spencer. A place to regroup, finish her training. Seattle was perfect for that period of her life. She was a doctor now, ready to begin her career, put down roots. She had spent long enough looking over one shoulder. She was determined to stay in San Francisco, even more so after the evening with those women. She made her final notes and signed off on the work. Her phone buzzed in her pocket as she was sliding the body back in the drawer. She snapped off her gloves and pulled the phone from her lab coat. Hal. "You're psychic," she said in lieu of hello. "Oh, yeah?" Homicide Inspector Hal Harris said. In the 6 months they had worked together, she and Hal had created a comfortable banter that made cases with him her favorites. "How's that?" "I just finished our burn victim." "And?" Hal asked. Autopsy showed massive bilateral pulmonary thromboembolism with pulmonary infarction. Hal groaned. "English Schwartzman." "Natural causes," she said. "He died of massive blood clots in his lungs." "Guy dies of natural causes, then drops a cigarette in bed and torches his own house." Hal had a knack for pointing out the ironies of their job, but they were always relieved when the autopsy revealed a death was due to natural causes. "Yep. You want me to call Haley?" "No, I'll tell her," Hal said. "You ready for another one?" "Sure," Schwartzman said. She was always game for another case. Lost in a case at the morgue, home alone with a book, or occasionally an old black-and-white movie, usually one her father had loved. Those were her best moments. The distractions were all the more important now that Spencer had found her again. The phone calls, the creepy bouquet of yellow flowers that had appeared outside her apartment door. Worse was the fact that no one in the heavily secured building could explain how the delivery man gained access to her floor. 7 years and 5 months since she'd left, and he would not give up. "I'll text the address and send over a picture from dispatch," Hal said. "I'm about 5 minutes out." "I'll try to leave here in the next 10. "Great," Hal said. "See you then." She was ready to end the call when he said, "Hey, Schwartzman?" "Yeah?" "Nice work on that last one." She smiled. Hal was good at praising his peers, herself, the crime scene techs, the patrol officers. It was another of his endearing qualities. "Thanks, Hal." She ended the call and removed her lab coat, hanging it in her narrow locker. After exchanging the orange Crocs she wore in the lab for her street shoes, she packed up her case for the scene. Her phone buzzed with the address Hal had sent. She double-clicked on the attached image, waited as it loaded. The image came into focus. A woman, about Schwartzman's age, wavy brunette hair, laid out on her bed. Shivers rippled across Schwartzman's skin like aftershocks. Someone had already put a sheet over her legs and stomach, as though she'd been found nude, but a thin stripe of her clothing was visible above her waist. Other than the pale color of her skin, she might have been sleeping. In her hands was a small bouquet of yellow flowers. 2.